Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special kind of, let's say, episode or workshop or video made by Team Tunisia. So, my name is Alaa Ben Ameur. I'm 19 years old. I'm a coach in the First Skills Club in 3D designing, and I've been doing that for 3 years so far. I'm also supervising some activities concerning 3D. I helped co-organizing an event, a 3D workshop event. It's called Creatop. And yes, so today, hopefully, as we mentioned some time ago, we are going to hold these workshops about design thinking in 3D, how to make a CubeSat, and of course, this is in order to help other teams in the first global challenge community in order to make their CubeSat maybe in 3D, make documentations in 3D, maybe print it in case possible using 3D printers, and so on and so forth. So, in this meeting, well, it's not a meeting, it's actually a workshop. I'd like to share with you how to actually start designing or design thinking your product or your CubeSat in this case. So there are like different ways of actually how to exploit the 3D software in order to recreate or maybe create your CubeSat. So in starters, there are two types of teams right now: the ones who already made their CubeSat design and the ones who haven't yet. So for those who have already made their CubeSat designs, it will be a bit rather easier for them to actually recreate it in 3D because they already have the shape itself and they can like just look at it, take dimensions, redo it, and so on. For those who haven't yet made their CubeSat, this video hopefully will help you too. So, as we know, the CubeSat is this cubic shaped satellite, and in 3D, for the main part, what you're going to take care more about is the outside structure or the structure itself of the CubeSat. So let's go ahead and let's make a cube first of all. So I'm using in this case the Autodesk Fusion 360. It is the software provided by Autodesk. I've been working with it for too many years so far. I can't really count, but it is a very helpful, easy to use, and rather professional software. So it had this section here in what we call the design environment. It has create, and create you would likely find things that are let's say default shapes such as the box, cylinder, sphere, torus, and so on. In this case we're going to choose the box, of course, and we're going to make a cube. So our cube is supposed to be 10 millimeters, I mean 100 millimeters, sorry, because it's 10 centimeters. So as you can see, I just clicked on the first dot and then I'm going to expand it until it reaches 100 millimeters on two sides. Now I've got a box. It's not a cube yet, but I'm gonna just add it the third dimension, which is the height. Like I did already the width and the length, and now I'm going to do the height, which is going to be 100. So I can just either scroll this arrow up or just type with my numpad 100. And I pressed enter. Now I've got my cube. Okay, so just as a notice, I'm pretty much demonstrating now how a CubeSat would be designed, but then the design itself might take different approaches. So our cube right now is actually filled from the inside. It's not empty. And from this cube, you can actually start thinking how your cube is going to look like. Like now we are talking about how will it look like, but not how is it going to be assembled or how is it going to be actually created in real life. So if we go like make a quick Google search and we're going to type CubeSat. Sorry. Well, these are more complicated looks of the CubeSat. What we're looking at is simpler models. Yep, there they are. So I just typed CubeSat 3D. The important or the noticeable thing about what you get here is that they are most of the time not completely closed, like they have those holes in them. For example, this one here, there is this main circle in the center of every face and other like shapes surrounding it. This method is by far, I believe, it is to reduce the mass of the CubeSat to make it as light as possible. Like CubeSat that they do actual launch into the space, they are like 1.33 kilograms maximum. And in this time, I believe that most teams are going to make like way lighter versions of the CubeSat. But of course, in case it is going to be made, reducing the mass is a very, very crucial way of making it. So I think we got so far the idea of how to make them light and how to make holes in them. I'm going to make something rather simple. So we're going to make it empty from all the sides first. And how am I going to do that is basically by making another cube inside of this cube. Okay, so I'll try to make it clearer. So I'm going to select box again, and then I'm going to select this face, like the upper face of the cube, because that's where I want to work. And I'm going to make another cube. Okay, but first I need to make some calculations. So you can see here, this is 100 and this is 75 millimeters, of course. So each square in here, it has like 5 millimeters of length. What I want is to calculate the thickness of each part of this CubeSat. So 100 minus 5 is going to be 95, then 90, then 85, then 80. I recommend actually having it 80, like each face is going to be like 2 millimeters thick, 2 centimeters thick, sorry. So we're going like 4 squares from here, 4 squares from here, and we selected our point. We're going to do the same thing here. Actually, it is rather easier now. You can see that these are 2 squares right now, so I can just choose 2 squares from here. I've got my box, and then now this arrow, I'm going to actually pull it down. You see how it's becoming red? That's because it's cutting through the initial box. And I'm going to press OK. I'm going to repeat this 2 more times. Okay, hold on a minute. I think I miscalculated it. Sorry. So concerning the second box, yep, I did miscalculate it. So it is supposed to be, yep, now it is 80. It is 70, yep, now it's much better. So as I said, we're going to repeat this 2 more times. Create, box, going to choose the face you need. This is very important. And you're going to make a similar cube. And you pull it in so it cuts through the whole thing. We're going to make just 1 more box. Like the boxes we're using now, they are purely to cut through the first one. They aren't to make other boxes. And we press OK. So I think we are getting a bit into shape. Like we're starting to know more about our CubeSat. How is it going to look? So the 6 faces of the cube, they will likely be empty. Of course, this can be regulated later. It depends, because as you can see in this Google search, there are different designs and different, let's say, type of arts of how to make your CubeSat look like. So you're not going to completely make them voided. Like it's not going to be completely like this. You're going to fill them with some shapes to add rigidity and solidity to the design itself. It's like better than keeping them empty, because that might affect the launching experience later. So we have our cube here. the CubeSat so far. And now, maybe we are going to make the shapes. It's not a bad idea. I think we can start by that. So how are we going to make those shapes? So let's start in an easy way. We're going to look at this cube from the front. As you can see, I have this cube over here. When I turn it, it turns the whole design. I can select front and it will bring me the front face of the cube. So I'm going to actually use now 2D. So what I've been doing a bit earlier is using just 3D tools. I'm making something in 3D. Now I'm going to make something in 2D, which is basically me going to draw something. So I'm going here to select Create Sketch. Sketch is basically the 2D tool of Fusion 360. I'm going to select the face, like this face, because it's the one I want to use, not another one. I'm going to select it. Now you see like how this bar has changed, the tool has changed. That's because I just entered the 2D environment. So what I'm going to do now is, as I said, I'm going to make drawings. So I'm going to choose a circle. A circle, you see like, you can pretty much know what is the center of this cube, of this rectangle actually. So Fusion actually gives you indications with your cursor to understand. So for example, you are here, you can see that it is doing X and a triangle, which means it is the middle of that line. If you go away, you can see an interrupted line going through until it intersects with another interrupted line in a perpendicular situation. So all you do is click on that point, choose your circle, choose the diameter. In this case, I'm going to do 30. And then what you're going to do is to actually make the other kind of arts. So we are going to make something similar. Let's choose, should we choose this? I think we can. So we are going to do something similar to this one. Let's just open it in another tab. There you go. I'm just going to zoom in. Okay, we're not going to make an exact similar one, but we're going to try anyway. So I made this cylinder, where the cylinder might appear to be a bit big, so I'm going to turn it into 35 and then make another cylinder that has the same center, which is 25 centimeters of diameter. And now what I'm going to do, it's not making these holes here. I'm going to actually make those bars that attaches this face of the CubeSat to the rest. So even if you haven't understand clearly, I'm going to explain a bit better. Just 1 second. So we've got this corner here. We're going to make we're going to make it 45 degrees. And I just wanted to intersect with this circle. Same here and same in here. I'm going to make it, okay, it is 180 degrees, it's fine. And I'm going to make it intersect and parallel to this one. Of course, I'm going to link them to each other because we want it to be a closed shape. And well, it is so good so far. What we can do actually now is not do it again, but actually recreate it, and that can be done with a circular pattern. So pattern is a tool of duplicating stuff in Fusion 360. What I'm going to choose is this object, and then the center point will be this one. It's going to rotate and make similar ones around it. So I'm going to put 4. As you see, it counts the first one, it did 4, and I'm going to press enter. Now we've got our shape basically, and yeah, so far it's so good. I'm going to exit now the 2D environment by clicking finish sketch. Okay, now we have a drawing here, and we don't have it on the other faces. So what do we do? Actually, we're going to do something similar to that pattern, but just in a minute. So we have a 2D looking sketch here. What we're going to do is to actually turn it into 3D. And as hard as it might sound, it's actually rather easy. you have this here. It's called the extrude tool. The extrude tool simply gives your 2D shape a height. So it used to have 2 dimensions, now it's going to have 3. And you're going to select carefully your faces. So we've got these that we made earlier, and this center circle. Now you've got some sort of X-shaped with a circle inside, and what we are going to do is pull it back so it will have a height now, and of course it's not going to leave the premises of this cube, so it doesn't pass the 10 centimeters rule. And we're going to press OK. So you see here now we have just one face. We want the other faces to go, so we're going to go with create pattern, but this one it is pattern on path. So pattern on path is basically taking a path and just repeating the same thing over it. So in type we're going to make sure it's selected features. As we are going in objects, once selected we're going to select this past extrude. You can see it here down in the timeline. Timeline shows you the history of your actions in the 3D project. You're going to select it, and then in the path you're going to select the bottom rectangle. That way we are going to select like to replicate this 4 times only, and you can go like this. Oh yeah, don't forget, put here on path direction. When you put it on path direction and you give them a closed path, which is in this case a rectangle, it's going to repeat it the same way. Okay, but now we need 4 instead of 3. So there you go. And you see here the distance is 300 because each side is 100 millimeters long. So 100, 200, 300, you've got it. And now we've got all these faces done. Okay, now you might wonder, like, should you do the same now to the, let's say, bottom and top? In this case, it is possible, yes, although I might not really recommend it. So how about, let's see, we make something to cover this cube with, and we can cover it actually with whatever we want. So let me look for something. I can actually go with a cup that fits in and comes out. We can have it with, let's say, jointed. In joint I mean something okay, you know, like it opens up and down. It's like the trunk of a car. Okay. Now we were talking about how to make a top and a bottom bases. Well, in here it depends. How do you want them? Do you want them open? Do you want them closed? Do you want a way that will let you enter or disassemble the cube itself? It all depends. So we can actually close the whole bottom just like this. So we're going to make a box. We're gonna choose from side to side, and boom, it's closed. You're just gonna make it look more okay, so by doing like this. So that could be your CubeSat, but of course we're just talking about the design thinking. So if you have a 3D software, just give it all you can, like make different designs, different approaches. You don't have to go by the rules at the first times, but then you can like know more of how to actually make your cube. So that's it for now for the design thinking. I hope you liked it, and see you in the next one.